Rajang Kulam Brahmana Pada Sochan Durad Vishritam Bhattakarya Karma Bhavayam Danyatamadrapanam Mahatmanu Grahaniyatsila Ragyam Kulam Brahmana Pada Sochan Durad Vishristam Bhattakarya Karma. Anybody else like to share? Rajovacham.
Ahovayam Danyatama
Ahovayam Danyatama
Mahattamanu Grahaniya Shiva
Mahatmanu Shila
Ragyam Kulam Brahmana Pada Shaucha
Ragyam Gulam Ramana Pada Sochan
Durad Visishtam Bhatagakya Karma
Durad Vishishtam Bhattakarya Karma. Rajuvacham.
Ahovayam Danyatamanirpanam
Ahovayam Danyatamadrapanam
Mahatamanam Grahaniya Shila
Mahatmanu Grahaniya Shila
Yankulam Brahmana Pada Socha
Rayangulam Ramana Pada Sochan
Durad Vishishtam Bhattagarya Karma
Durvishishtam Bhattagarya Karma. Rajavacha. The fortunate king said. Oh. Ah. Vayam. We. Danyatama. Most thankful. Nipanam. Of all the kings. Mahatama. Of the great souls. Anugrahini Asila. Trained to get favors. Ragyam. Of the royal. Kulam. Orders. Brahmanapada. Feet of the Brahmanas. Sauchat. Refuse after cleaning. Jirat. At a distance. Vishritam. Always left out. Bhatta. On account of. Garya. Condemnable. Karma. Activities. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The fortunate king said, indeed, we are most grateful of all the kings who are trained to get favors from the great souls. Certainly you, sages, consider royalty as refuse to be rejected and left in a distant place. Wow. Refuse.
What's that?
Refuse means like trash. Purport. According to religious principles, stool, urine, wash water, etc. must be left at a long distance. He didn't say trash, he called it the stool, urine, wash water. This is another definition of refuse.
Toilet.
Attached bathrooms, urinals, etc. may be very convenient amenities of modern civilization, but they are ordered to be situated at a distance from residential quarters. They think they have this nice big mansion, but they got all these bathrooms in the mansion. It's terrible. The very example is cited herein in relation to the kingly order for those who are progressively marching back to Godhead. Lord Chaitanya said that to be in an intimate touch with dollars and cents men or the kingly order is worse than suicide for one who desires to go back to Godhead. In other words, the transcendentalists do not generally associate with men who are too enamored by the external beauty of God's creation. By advanced knowledge and spiritual realization, the transcendentalist knows that this beautiful material world is nothing but a shadowy reflection of the reality, the kingdom of God. They are not, therefore, very much captivated by the royal opulence or anything like that. But in the case of Maharaj Brigat, the situation was different. Apparently, the king was condemned to death by an inexperienced Brahmana boy, but factually he was called by the Lord to return to him. Other transcendentalists, the great sages, and mystics who assembled together because of Maharaj Brigat fasting and to death were quite anxious to see him, but he was going back to Godhead. Maharaj Brigat also could understand that the sages, the great sages who assembled there, were all kind to his forefathers, the Pandavas, because of their devotional service to the Lord. He therefore felt grateful to the sages for being present there at the last stage of his life. And he felt that it was all due to the greatness of his late forefathers and grandfathers. He felt proud, therefore, that he happened to be the descendant of such great devotees. Such pride for the devotees of the Lord is certainly not equal to the puffed up sense of vanity for material prosperity. The first is reality, whereas the other is false and vain. Om Jnanatamanandasya Gnanajana Sulakaya Chaksham Litam Jina Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukam Kudavachalam Bhangam Nanayate Yat Kripataraham Vande Sri Guru Munataranam Vanchakalpatribhyascha Kripasanabhyevacha Priyanam Bhavaya Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasti Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So the first point Maharaj Brigat says here is that he's most grateful for of all the kings who are trained to get favors from the great souls. We are the most grateful of all the kings. So there's many kings. Of course, at the time of Brigat Maharaj, there's one king, but there was other kings who were kind of subordinate kings in their area. Even now in India, there's kings in the little areas. So he says here he's the most grateful of all the kings. So gratitude is so important, as it is said. If one is not grateful, then he's a great fool. So gratitude is so important. So he's expressing his gratitude for the great souls. And there was many great souls there. Many great personalities were there to hear this dialogue between Brigat Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. And still we're hearing this dialogue all over the world. We have so many temples and devotees are hearing and very grateful that they're able to hear this great discussion. So much wisdom is in the Srimad Bhagavatam. I was reading it yesterday. I was just appreciating. It's called the Amala Purana. Do you guys know what the Amala Purana means? It means a spotless Purana, spotless Purana. This is it's just filled with so much wisdom, so much inspiration, so much direction. Yeah. So then he goes on that generally you consider royal to be refuse, to be rejected and left in a distant place. Why? because generally the kingly order is engaged in pound, as Prabhu would say, pounds, pennies, and pence. You know, management, so many things. As it's mentioned here in the purport, Prabhupada mentions that Lord Chaitanya, he would not sing this King Prataparudra because he was like this. He was as Prabhupada says here in the purport, he was in intimate touch with dollars and cents men, the kingly order. So generally they're engaged in sense gratification, great opulence and sense gratification, and just to see such a king is inauspicious for saintly personalities. And here it's mentioned also that it's that upon seeing that, what is it? There's do you know that verse that Lord Chaitanya he quoted when they wanted him to see King Prataparudra? I can't think of it. Kautu, you remember the verse?
Bhakyam stanakalaputam.
Huh?
Aho bhakyam stanakalaputam vidhamsayata api sadhvi lebhe gatim datrim uchitam tatonim kamba dayalum sharanam vrajema. The Putana being
No, there's another verse. There's another verse when he was
Oh, it's Hanta.
Visabhakshana Topi Sadhu.
Yeah.
But that's not the beginning. You remember the beginning?
That's the end. Beginning is
Nirmana? No, that's not it either.
I'll find.
It's Nishkinchanasya Bhagavat.
Nishkinchanasya Bhagavad Bhajano Namakasya Parang Padam Jagmasor Bhavasagrasya Sandarsanam Visayanam Atayositancha Hanta Hanta Visabhakshanam Topi Sadhu.
Yes.
For one who is desiring to cross over the ocean of material existence and attain shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, for such a person to see a person that is engaged in sense gratification in material life is worse than willingly drinking poison. This Kinchinasya Bhagavat. So this is the verse that Lord Chaitanya quoted when the devotees wanted him to see King Prataparudra. Because they're generally just very engaged in sense gratification. And it's said that if you see a materialistic person, if a devotee sees a materialistic person, it's better to, afterwards it's good to just go and jump in the Ganges or the Jamuna. Yeah. Because you got to get purified from just seeing materialistic people. But not the case with King Prataparudra, because he was a great devotee. And upon hearing that he couldn't get the darshan of Lord Chaitanya, he was ready to just renounce the kingdom and just become a beggar. And the devotees were shocked, because he was a very responsible king. He was very much loved and appreciated. So they became a little anxious about that. And of course, he got the mercy of so many devotees. Even Lord Nityananda was vying for him, that he would get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And so many devotees, because they could see his sincerity, Sarvam Bhattacharya, so many devotees were giving him mercy, giving him their favor. So Lord Chaitanya, he was conquered by that. And what really touched Lord Chaitanya was when there was Rath Yatra, King Prataparudra, he was sweeping the street before the Rath Yatra. Now this is a king, and we may not think it's such a big deal. Hey, we sweep we sweep the rooms and stuff. But for a king in public, because who are the sweepers? Who are the sweepers? The Sudras. Only Sudras sweep. But he's a king, a very exalted, powerful king. He's sweeping the street before the Lord. When Lord Chaitanya saw that, he said, oh, this is a devotee. I mean, I don't know if there was people sweeping the street before Lord Jagannath, before King Prataparudra. We don't hear it. Maybe he was the first. Because Lord Chaitanya was astounded. And that pretty much, that conquered the heart of Lord Chaitanya. And still he didn't get the darshan of Lord Chaitanya. And then it was mentioned to him that Lord Chaitanya, he's going to go to a little area and he's going to take some rest. And when he does, you take off all your kingly garb and just go there and you massage the feet of Lord Chaitanya and chant these 5 chapters of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chanted by the gopis. And so he did that. And Lord Chaitanya was so pleased when he got to this this one verse. Now this verse also is, what's that verse?
Tav kathamritam.
Tavakatamritam tapta jivanam kavarvitam kamasabam shavana mangalam srimadatam bhuvi gunati bhuri dajana. Tavakatamritam, that your glories are relished. Tavakatamritam tapta jivanam, by those persons who are suffering the pangs of material existence. Tavakatamritam tapta jivanam shavana mangalam, and to hear the glories of Krishna is very auspicious. Shavana Mangalam Srimad Atatam. And it's very powerful. Srimad Atatam, very, very powerful. Just to hear the glories of Krishna is very powerful. It's purifying. Kabir and great sages say that simply by hearing the glories of Krishna, one becomes free of all sinful reactions, just by hearing the glories of Krishna. And those persons who are distributing this knowledge, they are the most munificent. So this is a Sankirtan verse spoken by the gopis. Those persons who are distributing this knowledge are the most munificent. So, yeah, beautiful verse. When Lord Chaitanya heard this, he was in ecstasy. He got up off the area where he was laying and getting the massage, and he embraced King Prataparudra. He said, "Who are you? Who are you? You've made my life wonderful. Tell me, who are you?" What did he say? "I am the servant of the servant of the servant of your devotees." So he got the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Yeah. So to chant the glories of the devotees, to chant the Srimad Bhagavatam is so pleasing to Krishna. And for some people, it's an austerity. Just like we're on book distribution sometimes, and people say, "I don't read." Yeah, is it? Sometimes a lot of people they don't read.
Then even if they read, they don't understand.
Yeah.
I notice many people reading our books, they read between the lines.
Yeah, it's hard to understand. Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah, it's true. It's not easy to understand. One person I was distributing books in Singapore, and the guy said, "I like to read, but when I do it, I fall asleep." I said, "Well, stand up." Hey, oh, that's a good idea. All right, I'll stand up. And he bought the Bhagavad Gita. There's little tricks to staying awake. It's like sometimes in class, sometimes there's devotees sleeping, and it's good to just stand up. Although there's one devotee, he was sleeping, he stood up, and he fell asleep while he was standing up. He fell on the devotees. Whoever was also sleeping down below him also woke up. So sometimes the devotees are so tired. I've even seen people walking, chanting japa, and they're falling asleep while they're walking. That's pretty tired. That's pretty tired. So, yeah, for some people, it's an austerity to read, because, and even for devotees, I've met devotees, believe it or not, that have been in the movement for years and years and years and hadn't read the Srimad Bhagavatam. How's that possible? Because, as it said, the mind is just, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, it's a non-devotee. Doesn't want to hear the glories of Krishna, doesn't want to hear the holy, doesn't want to hear the glories of Krishna. So it's an austerity. But austerity is good. Austerity is the wealth of the Brahmanas. It's the wealth of the Brahmanas. Austerity is very good. Yeah. I'll give you an example. Imagine there's, I was giving a class with devotees in Russia last night, and none of you have been to Russia. In Russia, the roads are terrible. There's potholes in the road. It's just terrible. When you get it, in Moscow and St. Petersburg, these big cities, it's nice, just you could, but you get out in the country. So I gave them an example. Imagine you're going to the road and you're going down to Sochi. Sochi is where the devotees have their annual, they still have it. I was surprised because I used to go all the time to the big, it used to be like 10,000, 8 or 10,000 devotees at these festivals in Sochi. It's on the bank of the Black Sea there, southern Russia. So I told them, imagine you're going down a road towards Sochi and there's all these potholes and there's this terrible bumpy, and just, I mean, you can't go more than like 40 miles an hour. It's so bad. Imagine going down this long road. But then you see a nicely paved road on the left, nice smooth road, made in America. And on each side there's flower bushes and there's nice big kadamba trees, in the medium, in the middle there, and this looks so beautiful. So personally, well, that's a nice road there. I'll just go down that road. So he gets off and he goes down this nice smooth road and he's smelling all the nice fragrant flowers, and it's so nice. But there's a problem. What's the problem? What's the problem?
He's not going to the destination.
He's going the wrong way. He's going the wrong way. So if you're going the wrong way, then what do you got to do? You got to backtrack. You're wasting time. It's a waste of time. Nice road, but so it's like with sense gratification. It appears nice. It appears so nice, just like in the mode of passion. It's just like nectar in the beginning. It just appears so nice, like a nice paved road, with flower bushes on each side. It just looks so beautiful. But you're going the wrong way. Sense gratification it's going the wrong way. It's like Vaishesha Maharaj. He gave that nice example that it's irrational material desires. It's such a nice statement. Irrational material, what is it? Material desires, right?
Our attention.
Oh yeah, irrational material attachments. And then he goes on to say, it's a fake out. You know that fake out? People get faked out by irrational material attachment. It doesn't satisfy the soul. It's irrational. Why is it irrational? Because we're not matter. We're not matter at all. We're spirit soul. I was speaking to a guest in Los Angeles in the restaurant, and I was telling him how we're not the body, we're the soul. And he said, aren't we just a little bit the material body? I said, sorry, we're not even a little bit the material body. We're completely 100% spirit soul. We're not the body at all. So it's irrational material attachment. It's a fake out. Faked out by Maya. She's good. She's good at fake outs. So, but then there's rational material. I mean, there's rational spiritual attachment. There's irrational material attachment. There's rational spiritual attachment. What's that? Rational spiritual attachment means realization that we're the soul within and that there's a supreme soul from whom we come from. And to serve that supreme soul, Krishna, to become attached to Krishna, that's rational. Because he says, in the Bhagavad Gita, Manmanam bhava mad bhakto majjajimam namaskar mama vaishasi satyanti pratijane priyas. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. That you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you're my very dear friend. So this is what the Supreme Soul is saying. If you become attached to me, then that's very auspicious, because the result of becoming attached to Krishna is we go back to Krishna. And there, it's very nice. Everyone is a pure devotee. Imagine being in a place where everyone is as it said here in the verse, Mahatma. Mahatma. Everyone there is a great soul. Here, practically everybody is a Jiratma. Jiratma means bad soul. So imagine being in a place where everybody is a pure devotee. Wow, how wonderful that would be. Yeah. And of course, then there's the greatest soul, Krishna. So fortunately, Krishna comes. He's the greatest soul. So Krishna comes out of his magnificence. He comes and he gives us so much knowledge to direct us back to him, back to the spiritual world, to get us out of this the wrong direction, the direction of sense gratification, and get us going in the right direction, back to devotional service. So here, there's some other points here. So Prabhupada, he mentions here that Maharaj Brigid also could understand that the great sages who are assembled there were all kind to his forefathers, the Pandavas, because of their devotional service to the Lord. So Pariksit Maharaj, he was appreciating these great Mahatmas. I mean, what a wonderful way to leave this world, to be spoken to by Sukadeva Goswami and to be in the association of all these great Vaishnavas. I mean, how much more auspicious can it be? Just like we hear of devotees leaving their body in Mayapur, and there might be like maybe a few devotees around. But imagine how auspicious it would be to have all these great devotees there when one is ready to leave their body. So this is something that I'm always surprised when I hear of devotees that know they're leaving their body, but they just stay in America, or they stay in Europe, or because Prabhupada says again and again, if you leave your body in Vrindavan, or you leave your body in Mayapur, then you go back to Godhead. Right? So I'm just thinking, well, just get a ticket, buy a ticket, go to Vrindavan, or go to Mayapur. You go back to Godhead. It's shocking to me. If they have the opportunity, they can go. They know they're going to leave their body in a short time. Just spend the rest of your days, chanting Hare Krishna in Vrindavan, right? So, yeah, I'm always amazed. Anyway, this is my plan, at least, and this is what Prabhupada did. He said, do as I am doing. He was in Vrindavan. Sometimes he was thinking of going to Mayapur, but to be in Mayapur, to be in Vrindavan, it's not different. But he ended up staying in Vrindavan, and it was a wonderful departure. There was his room there was packed with devotees, all chanting Hare Krishna. It was just so auspicious. And Prabhupada, just practically right up to his last breath, he's translating the Bhagavatam and giving lucid commentary on the verses. I mean, you can read them now. It's amazing. He's on his disappearance bed, and he's giving these lucid commentary on the Bhagavatam. And devotees are chanting and crying, and just how auspicious. So there's the example. We should, as far as possible, we should also try to be in at least one of these holy places, and go back home, back to the spiritual world. So it's interesting here also at the end, Prabhupada mentioned that he felt proud that he happened to be a descendant of such devotees. So we can be proud of being servants of Krishna, and we can be proud of being a member of the Hare Krishna movement. And this is not, as Prabhupada says, it's not, he says, this is reality. It's not false and vain. We can be proud to be practitioners of Krishna consciousness. So pride is not bad, but to be falsely proud, to be proud, oh, I'm American, or I'm Russian, or I'm European, or I'm British. People are proud. It's like in Texas, there's a lot of pride. I lived there for a while. A lot of pride to be Texan. There's no reason to be proud to be a Texan, but to be proud to be a follower of Krishna, to be a follower of Lord Chaitanya. That's good. Just like I remember I was reading one spiritual book, and it said that spiritual people that are advanced in spiritual life, they look down as they're walking or something. They'll look down, humble. But then I would see Prabhupada, and how would Prabhupada walk? With his head up like this. Why? He was proud to be a follower of Krishna. Proud to be a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So this is okay to have this pride. This is spiritual pride. But then there's the false ego, material pride. And this material pride, this is what keeps us locked up in this material world. So to be proud of Krishna, to be proud that I'm a follower of Srila Prabhupada is very auspicious. So any question or comments or reflection? Actually, I wasn't expecting to give class today. I didn't prepare.
Thank you.
Thank you for the class, Prabhu. Prabhu, I have one question.
Yeah.
You mentioned that verse man manabha madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evashyasi yuktvaya no pratiyane priyosime, that I promise you this, that you will come back to me because you are very dear to me. And Krishna says in many places that such and such devotee is very dear to me in 12th chapter. So in another verse in 9th chapter he says Samoham sarvabhuteshu na me dveshu asti na priya. No one is dear to me and no one is my enemy. So how do we reconcile both of these, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhupada gives the example in that purport that a person may be equal towards everyone, but if there's some danger, for instance, in a schoolhouse, and there's many children, he's going to look for his child first, and then he may help others. And no one would criticize that because it's the child of the man. So the devotees, the sincere devotees, are the good children of Krishna. So if someone gives their life to Krishna, then they are the good sons of Krishna. So therefore he gives some favor. And no one would criticize that because they're devoted completely to Krishna. Mahatmanas tamam partha daivam prakutimasha. Those who are not deluded, the great souls, Mahatmanas tamam partha daivam prakutimasha, bhajanti nandamanaso, gyato bhutana. Those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under my protection. What is it? What's the translation? Those who are not deluded, great souls are under protection of my divine nature. They're fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of God, original and inexhaustible. So, because they're fully absorbed in serving Krishna, they're very dear to Krishna. And it's rare. It's so rare for someone to be devoted, completely devoted to Krishna, as we see. So many devotees have joined our Hare Krishna movement, and so many have left. And some of them even appeared to be very, very advanced. So it's rare to be completely devoted to Krishna in all circumstances. And, but such people are very, very dear to Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
You had a question?
I mean, in this verse, it's interesting that king is grateful, or as you said, that Prabhupada said that he's proud. He's proud of being descendant of such kings. But at the same time, in the same verse, it says that royalty is refused. It's trash to be rejected. So is he proud of being Brahmana's trash? That's my question.
So the question is he was proud to be a descendant and relative of such great devotees, but then he said that royalty is like refuse, to be rejected, so nothing to be proud of. Well, there's as I mentioned, King Prataparudra, he was a king. And Lord Chaitanya, he just considered him to be refuse. Therefore, he didn't want to see him.
Yeah.
But there are rare cases where there's saintly kings. And the Pandavas, or King Yudhisthira and King Parikshit, they were saintly kings, Rajarsis. So therefore he was proud to be a descendant of the Pandavas, such great devotees. And these sages, they didn't think of King Parikshit as being refuse. That was the humility of Pariksit Maharaj to say like that, because they were there to hear this dialogue between Sukadeva Goswami and this king. Now he had taken off his kingly garb. He was like a mendicant. Yeah. So this is not an ordinary king that people that saintly people would consider refuse and avoid. They could see this is no ordinary soul. Yeah. Yeah.
Along with this line, I remember, I think it's second canto. In Prabhupada said that that Shukadeva Goswami didn't recite Bhagavatam to Parikshit while he was a king.
Mm.
Probably you remember that.
Yeah.
So, so it looks like that Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam is so kind of special that it cannot be given to people who are not paying proper attention. I think in that context, Prabhupada is using that one. Prabhupada even mentions that people who are kind of entangled in material life, they should at least separate some time and give full attention to hearing and chanting so that actual change of heart can happen. So like he's using this example of Shukadeva, if you cannot get out of entanglement, then at least go for sadhu sangha retreat and at least at that time give full attention so that some kind of,
some release of the contamination.
Yeah, because usually we hear, as devotees, you can go to school, you can go to work, just hear Bhagavatam, chant Hare Krishna. But it's obvious that people who are actually doing that, they are quite free from material contamination.
Yeah.
Because they are subscribing, obviously, to Krishna consciousness, although they are engaged outside. But for someone who is kind of too much kind of into this, to me it looks like that their only chance is kind of just drop. That's one of the instructions. It looks like just drop everything and just do it. But they don't do it. So how to get these people who are very much engrossed into materialistic life? It would be good for them to spend 1 month, even 1 week, Bhagavad Sapta. If they can just, they don't.
Yeah.
So
people are very attached. And I have one friend. He was. He had a job and he was working right up into his 80s. And he said, "Well, I got to take care of my clients." I told him, "Come on, just give up your job and just hear and chant about Krishna." He said, "No, I got my responsibility. I got my clients to take care of." He's in his 80s. But he somehow he's very fortunate. He left his body with devotees from the LA temple surrounding his bed chanting. And he was lucid, and he was hearing, he was appreciating. So, and he was also chanting. So somehow he got there because he had a good son. His son is a good doctor also. This person was in the hospital for a long time. So his son had him brought to his home. And he arranged that devotees were there chanting, and it was very auspicious. So it's also good to have friends or relatives that are Krishna conscious that help also. Just like the amazing example of of Amoga. Amoga was such a rascal, criticizing Lord Chaitanya. And when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he heard that criticism, oh man, he just wanted to burn him with his eyes. But how did Lord Chaitanya take it? This is an interesting instruction. How did Lord Chaitanya take it? When he was criticized, it's not a big deal. He kind of like just laughed it off. Like, not a big deal. So it's a good way to take, some criticism. Yeah, don't take it seriously. We shouldn't take ourselves very seriously. Here's God. Lord Chaitanya is God. And yeah, he just laughed it off. Yeah, he's right. I shouldn't eat so much, It's okay. But Sarvabhauma and his wife, they just wanted to fast. They were just so upset. But because Amoga was related to Sarvabhauma, he was delivered. He became a great devotee because of that relationship. And he didn't even become a good devotee until Lord Chaitanya went to him and he put his hand on his chest and he said, Amoga, you're born into a very nice Brahmin family. The heart of a Brahmana is very pure and clean. Why have you allowed this chandala of envy to sit in your heart, making it not a nice place? However, because you are the relative of Sarvabhauma, I bless you to chant the holy name. And Sarvabhauma, Amoga, after he took his hand off, he jumped out of his bed, chanting Hare Krishna. He became ecstatic. He became a great devotee. Lord Chaitanya gave his mercy because he was a relative of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He got the mercy of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So we're all followers of Srila Prabhupada. So, and also our spiritual master. So because of that relation, even we may not be so pure, we can get the mercy of Krishna. Okay. Anything else? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada.